I'm continuing with my week of focusing on the 2020-2022 In Color DSP. There are some other products in that suite that are also really great. And here's today's card. I used the new In Color Misty Moonlight. If you're interested in the supplies and measurements for today's card, there's a link in the information section below to the blog post with all the information. And here's the stamp set I used, Sailing Home. I wanted a masculine card. I try to do them every once in a while. And in this, I used the compass, the larger sailboat, and the rope. Creates the background. So with that, let me pull in the measurements so you have those. You're going to start with a piece of Misty Moonlight DSP. Whoops, wrong way. Put that there. And it's 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And you're going to take and you're going to use your bone folder for a crisp fold. The next thing you want to do is you want to pull in a scrap paper because we're going to stamp the background. I do not have the Misty Moonlight ink pad, so I used Versamark, and my pad looks horrible, but it still works. And you're going to ink it up, and Versamark is a watermarking ink. So what will happen is you'll stamp this all over, and it actually, when it dries, shows up really light. So it's like a lighter version of the color. I'm going to hit that corner. I'm going to come down here, and I'm just randomly stamping. I did put a piece of paper underneath to for when I went off so it didn't get on my surface. Put one in there. Pull that one in there. All right. So now that I've got my background created, now I can take and put my next piece together. For that one, I have a piece of Whisper White that's 3 by 4, and I have a piece of the DSP that's 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. And I chose the polka dots to go with this because I thought it just kind of added a little bit of interest. I was looking at the this side, the jean side, but I just think there wasn't enough contrast. I couldn't think. So I'm going to put my paper down and hold it in place. And then this piece, and see, you can see how it created that background. So if you don't have the ink color and you want to use it, use your Versamark. All right, I'm going to add some glue to the back of this, and then I'm going to center it side to side, top to bottom, and put it in place. The next thing I need to do is I need to take a piece of Whisper White that's 1 7/8 by 3 7/8, and I'm using the larger sailboat from the set, and now I'm using my Night of Navy ink because I don't have it and I needed it to show up. And I got to be careful because I got the edges on that. All right, so I'm going to put this down straight, and I'm going to stamp my sailboat. There we go. And my sailboat is done. This, I'm going to give it a few minutes to dry, and while it's drying, I'm going to take my compass, and I said you needed a scrap of Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to take my Versamark pad, and I'm going to ink this up really good right? Because I'm going to do some embossing. And I didn't use the embossing buddy on this because it's, I'm punching it out, so most of it is going to be fine. Then I'm going to use some gold embossing powder. Yeah, didn't want to open. I should have opened that before I started. And you're going to take and you're going to sprinkle on your gold. And I do it a couple of times to make sure that I get it all over real good. Flick it off. And now I'm going to go heat set this. And now I have it heat set. So I'm going to take my 1.5 inch circle punch and I'm going to punch out my compass. And that fits in there very nicely. Okay, I'm going to add dimensionals to the back of this because it goes on with dimensionals.